Monday. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seifried and Brew, and I want to give you a date to remember in here. Coming up, 10/22/2012. And this is the date that you need to get your comments in on the new Basel III capital proposals. And what I'm urging everyone to do, every board, every management team, to send in letters saying no to the Basel III capital proposals. We're saying that it does not save the FDIC fund. We're saying that it doesn't promote traditional community banking. We're saying that community banks need their own capital requirements compared to the larger banks, the international banks. So what Dr. Ed and I prepared is our own comment letter, which, if you're getting this in email form, is going to be attached. We urge you to take that letter, send it in to the regulators, saying our board agrees with Dr. Ed and Jay. And if you look at our website, this comment letter will be posted on our website, and you'll be able to use that to send to the regulators. But we all of the community banks need to get these comment letters in. When we look at it, that it's not just saying no to the proposals. What we're saying is that we're giving alternative proposals in here. And one of the proposals is just to simply say no, meaning that community banks should stay under the current capital requirements. We don't think that that's the best way to go, but it's better than having Basel III imposed. So say banks $5 billion and less could stay under the current capital requirements. But the thing that we point out there is that those capital requirements did not prevent the failed banks. And that's what we believe needs to be done, is to promote traditional community banking through capital rules that make sense. So then we look at it from the standpoint of using economic value of equity. We all have to do economic value of equity in here, and within that asset liability formation, that we're able to use economic value of equity and use it for our capital requirements. And we can set all sorts of percentages in terms of minimum EVE, but instead of just looking at the investment portfolio, it takes into account all of your assets and liabilities, and we think that that would be a good alternative. The other alternative would be to use an independent risk assessment. And we look at that independent risk assessment that's done from an independent third-party source, such as Seifried and Brew, that can look at risk assessment at all of the community banks across the country, and then set capital requirements based upon that independent risk assessment. The final one, which I think is the best, would be similar to what we do with our ALLL in terms of laying out loan loss reserve, looking at those quantitative and qualitative factors that have been brought about by the regulators that we think has been a positive force in terms of looking at loan loss reserve, is that we can do the same thing with capital in terms of doing all sorts of quantitative and qualitative analysis. So here are 4 alternative proposals that are in our comment letter, but once again, we feel that these proposals will essentially keep the community banking industry safe and sound for our future. This is Jay Brew. Have a great week.